Hey y'all, it's Brandon. So I've been piddling with Suburban a little bit. I pulled 3 or 4 bearing caps. Everything looks brand new still. I don't know. I'm gonna finish pulling the rest of them. I checked the wrist pins on that few that I pulled. I pulled the bearing cap. I pushed the piston up a little bit, and then pulled up and down on the rod to see if there's any slop in it, and no slop up and down. So hopefully I find something I can fix easy. I'm gonna spin the motor around and check the flywheel, maybe find a crack on the flywheel. Hopefully it's not a lifter. If it is, I guess it's not the end of the world, but we'll figure it out. Checked all of the rod bearings. They all look brand new. I wiggled the piston up and down and there's no slop in any of them. So I'm not quite sure where the noise is coming from. Hopefully there's a crack in the flywheel or the flex plate. Maybe that'd be easy enough to change. But everything looks good inside. I don't know much else that could go wrong besides maybe a lifter. And if it's a lifter, it is what it is. So just in case you thought I forgot, I am going to torque the connecting rod bolts. They have a spec of 15 foot-pounds plus 60 or 75 degrees depending on the bolt. I'm going to do it different. If it blows up, we'll know why. I'm not going to use the torque to angle measurements. I'm going to use a foot-pound measurement. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. You can look it up and find it out. That's as clean as I can get it. I'm happy with it. That little plate put in. Got a new O-ring to put on my pickup tube. Reinstall the oil pressure sensor or oil level sensor. So with this oil level sensor, I'm tempted to put some Teflon around that. It has an O-ring. It's smushed flat. I don't have a new one to put on it. So at the very end of the threads, I'm gonna put in just a little dab of black RTV on the threads. And black because that's what I had on hand. I don't imagine it'll make a difference, but it'll make me feel better. Just wanted to get it in there sideways to where I could easily get this clip. If you tighten it up and leave this side down, you won't be able to get to the clip to take that out. Well, so I'll go underneath there and bolt the window tray up. Well, did you see where I goofed up? If you saw, hit that like button. I'll finish that tomorrow night. Well, it's another day. So today, we'll try to get that oil pan on. So last night, I did something wrong. Did you see what it was? If you think you know, put down in the comments what I did wrong. You want it really clean. I really like those O-ring gaskets. It's way better than those old cork gaskets where you had to put silicone all the way around them. Make a crazy mess. And heaven forbid if you ever had to take it back off. Ooh. Talk about a mess. Clean all the oil off down here. I guess really I should clean the pan before I clean that up. Alright, that looks pretty good. So I will install the oil pickup tube. Put my silicone on the corners and get it ready to put back on. And I'm actually reusing this. It's not the original gasket. I've already replaced it once. This has maybe, I don't know, 15,000 miles on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and reuse it. Tell me if I shouldn't. And the neighbor kids are loud. So, since I'm reusing it, I need to clean all the gasket maker off of the corners of the gasket too. So, all right, well, wish me luck. See if you figured out what I did wrong. I tightened all the bolts up on the windage pan, or the windage tray, and you have to have two in the rear loose to hold the pickup tube, and I tightened them up. So now I'm gonna take them back off, put the pickup tube back on it, and tighten them back up again. If I ever get the chance to get a lift, it's gonna be the first thing I do. Just look at all the space in here with it being a solid axle swap. If it was still IFS, I wouldn't be doing this. Not on the ground. There just wouldn't be enough room. But anytime you take the pickup tube off, always try and replace that O-ring. That O-ring is one of the most critical things in your engine, believe it or not. If it gets a little crack in it, you start sucking air through your oiling system, you'll end up burning bearings up. So there's probably a spec on that, a torque spec. I'm just going to use the German torque spec of Gutentite, and that was Gutentite. I just don't have enough room. So, where you want to put the gasket maker is here and here, where the back plate meets the block. Don't get it around these little holes here for your oil filter. And then, in the same spots, where the front plate meets the block. So here and here. Just do like a little 1-inch bead of gasket maker on each one of those, and tighten the pan up to spec. Don't remember there's a torque sequence for the pan too. So I'm gonna do this in a time lapse, so you're not gonna hear me talk to myself. I didn't want to have to get out from underneath the truck to check the torque sequence. So I just took a magic marker and marked them all on the pan to make it easier later on. Oil pan's back on. Put a oil filter on it, fill it up with oil, and drive it and see how hard it knocks. It sure sounded like something in the bottom end, but I don't know, maybe it's something at the back of the cam. Hope not. Oil's in, it's full. I'm gonna crank her up, see how bad she knocks. I disconnected the fuel pump fuse, and I unplugged all of my coil wires. Cranked it over, got oil pressure up, got it all put back together, some of them things are booger. I never found anything that knocked, or that would or should have knocked. So I completely expect it to still knock. Just put it back together and run it. So I didn't find anything in the bottom end that would cause it to knock. So I guess now I'm gonna fire it up, back it out so I can get some stuff done in the shop. And then I'll worry about checking stuff on the top end for the knock. It really sounded like a bottom end knock whenever it was knocking before. But it could be a roller lifter, could be a rocker arm. I don't know, but I'm gonna fire it up. That's strange. No knockdown. So I'm gonna stick the phone to the oil pan and see if you can hear the knock resonating in the bone. Maybe that'll work. You know, and maybe kind of use it like a stethoscope. I don't know if that'll work or not. Let's see. So walking around it, it's kind of hard to tell. In the video, you can't hardly hear it. It does seem to have a slight miss, and kind of between the manifold and the block, if I'm underneath it, I can hear. It sounds like something like that. It's not a real hard knock, so I don't know if maybe it's. I don't know. It sounds like a knock, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely not as loud as it was when I first thought the bottom end was knocked out. It's back together. Sorry it took so long to get here, but thanks for watching. I appreciate it.